During the Second World War, Finland found itself thrust into one of the most precarious positions in Europe. A small nation on the edge of the Soviet Union, it had long tried to preserve its independence and neutrality. But neutrality became impossible in November 1939, when the Soviet Union invaded, sparking the bloody conflict that came to be known as the Winter War. Among the many young Finns who stepped forward to defend their homeland was Lauri Allan Törni, a soldier whose extraordinary journey would take him through 3 different armies, across continents, and into some of the fiercest battles of the 20th century. His life, filled with daring choices and constant combat, would eventually become legendary. Early life in Viipuri. Lauri Allan Törni was born on May 28, 1919, in the city of Viipuri, Finland. His father, Jalmari, was a ship's captain, a profession that required discipline, courage, and time away from home. His mother, Rosa, managed the household, ensuring stability for Lauri and his siblings. Growing up in a port city exposed Lauri to both the physical world of ships and sailors and the more traditional rhythms of Finnish life. As a boy, he was known for being energetic, clever, and physically capable. He excelled in outdoor pursuits, from skiing to hunting, both common pastimes in Finland's northern climate. His intelligence was matched with determination, and after completing business school, he briefly served with the White Guard, a Finnish volunteer militia with deep national roots. His early interest in military life would prove defining. By 1938, just before Europe descended into chaos, he formally joined the Finnish army, the Winter War. In late 1939, Joseph Stalin ordered the Red Army into Finland, launching the Winter War. The Soviets sought territory and influence, but the invasion was far more difficult than they expected. Though outnumbered nearly 4-1 and facing overwhelming Soviet armor and air power, the Finnish forces displayed ingenuity and stubborn resistance. Torni, serving with Jaeger Battalion 4, quickly found himself on the front lines. The conditions were brutal. Temperatures dropped to -40 degrees, and soldiers fought in snow-covered forests and frozen lakes. Despite their disadvantage, the Finns used mobility and knowledge of terrain to strike the Soviets effectively. They invented tactics like the Madi, surrounding and cutting off Russian units in small pockets, then destroying them. For Lauri, this period was a baptism of fire. Still in his early 20s, he proved himself fearless, often volunteering for dangerous missions. His service during the Winter War marked him as an exceptional fighter, someone who not only endured hardship but thrived in it, rising through the ranks. Though the Winter War ended in March 1940 with Finland forced to cede territory, the Finnish military gained international respect. For Torni, the conflict was only the beginning. His combat record led to officer training, and he was soon promoted to Van Ricki, or second lieutenant, in the reserves. In 1941, as Hitler's Germany launched Operation Barbarossa against the Soviet Union, Finland entered what became known as the Continuation War, seeking to reclaim lost lands. Torni's reputation for bravery and skill made him a natural leader. Before long, he commanded his own special unit, Detachment Torni. This elite group specialized in deep reconnaissance and sabotage operations behind Soviet lines. They disrupted communications, destroyed supplies, and inflicted heavy casualties. The Soviet command considered Detachment Torni such a threat that they placed a bounty on Lauri himself, 3 million Finnish marks, a staggering sum at the time. To the Soviets, he was more than a nuisance. He was a serious danger. To his men, however, he was a commander who inspired confidence by sharing their risks and hardships. German training and controversy. In the summer of 1941, Torni traveled to Austria to train with the Waffen-SS, Germany's elite military formation. The 7-week training focused on small unit tactics, advanced weapons handling, and commando-style operations. The Germans recognized his talent, granting him the rank of Untersturmführer, a junior officer equivalent. His connection with Germany has long been a subject of debate. At the time, Finland's survival depended on cooperation with Germany against their common enemy, the Soviet Union. For Torni, the decision was pragmatic. It gave him access to advanced training that he would later use to defend Finland. Nevertheless, his ties to the Waffen-SS would cast a long shadow over his life. The Continuation War's end. Between 1941 and 1944, Detachment Torni carried out daring missions, earning admiration at home and hatred from their adversaries. But by 1944, the tide of war had turned. Germany was in retreat, and Finland, exhausted, signed the Moscow Armistice. Under its terms, the Finnish army was largely demobilized, and many soldiers, including Torni, found themselves without purpose. Fearing another Soviet invasion, Torni refused to give up. He joined a pro-German resistance movement in Finland, underwent sabotage training in Germany, and later fought near Schwerin alongside Wehrmacht troops. When the war ended, he was captured by the British and placed in a prisoner of war camp. True to form, he managed to escape and eventually made his way back to Finland, prison and pardon. In 1946, Finnish authorities arrested him for serving in the German army. His trial ended in conviction, and he was sentenced to 6 years in prison. The punishment was a harsh reminder of how the political winds had shifted after the war. Yet Torni's story was not finished. 2 years later, Finnish President Juho Kusti Paasikivi granted him a pardon, recognizing his prior service to Finland. Once free, Torni knew his future in Finland was limited. He fled to Sweden, where he began a new chapter of his life, crossing the Atlantic. In Sweden, Torni became engaged and considered settling down. He planned to work aboard Swedish ships to secure a stable career. But restlessness pushed him further. In 1950, during a voyage, he leapt from a vessel near Mobile, Alabama, entering the United States illegally. From there, he eventually joined the Finnish immigrant community in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Life in America was initially humble. He worked as a carpenter and janitor, slowly building stability. Over time, he secured permanent residency, opening new doors. By 1954, his path took a decisive turn when he enlisted in the U.S. Army. In the American military, Lauri Törni adopted a new name, Lauri Thorn. His background and skills made him a natural fit for the newly formed Special Forces. He trained soldiers in unconventional warfare, survival techniques, skiing, and mountaineering. His ability to adapt, combined with his battlefield experience, quickly earned him respect. Between 1958 and 1962, Thorn was stationed in West Germany with the 10th Special Forces Group. One of his most notable missions during this time was a high-risk search and rescue in Iran's Zagros Mountains, which further solidified his reputation as a resourceful leader. When America escalated its involvement in Vietnam, Thorn was among those deployed. With Special Forces Detachment A734, he participated in intense firefights, applying decades of combat knowledge. His courage during one particularly brutal engagement in the Tin Bien district earned him 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. How do you feel about a former member of the SS being laid to rest at Arlington National? Do you feel he redeemed himself by joining the U.S. Army and serving in Vietnam? Drop your thoughts in a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe.